SouFLoTV. I'm my TV that man. But is where the granny back foot a go. Kiss me granny neck back. SouFLo. Come look on this.
Boy, this is such a sad story. Such a sad story. Listen, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. Alright, let's get into this story right here. Goodness, man. The headline from Jamaica Observer recently said that a chef was gunned down at her restaurant in Clarendon, Jamaica. A restaurateur was gunned down at her establishment in Hayes, Clarendon on Wednesday. The deceased has been identified as 39-year-old chef Alecia Latchman-Peart of Cornpeace District in Hayes. Reports are that around midday, Latchman-Peart responded to a persons at her establishment which connected to her home and ordered a box lunch. So apparently her little restaurant is connected to her actual home where she lives, right? You know how we do at Jamaica already. People set up business right there, so right in front of your house, especially if you live in a busy area or whatever, and she's conducting business. She was known to be this type of person, very loving, calm, kind, all the words that people use to describe her, I'm telling you about, and a very go-getter kind of person, hard-working woman who helped a lot of people and stuff. Anyhow, listen, this story takes twists and twines and turns, and I'm going to go down one of those turns for you. My disclaimer already, I'm not saying that this person is guilty. I'm just saying that law enforcement needs to thoroughly investigate this lane and avenue that we are about to go down. All right, watch this. So reports are that around midday, she was at her restaurant, you know, they're cooking, serving food and thing, and a patron walked in and ordered a box lunch. All right, you know how the chef do already. The chef turns her back to go put the box lunch together, share out the food. What is it that you're eating? Or maybe them stay there right in front of you, I don't know. What you're eating, them putting in the box, these kind of things. It is understood that as she was preparing the box lunch, the same person who ordered the box lunch opened fire, hitting her multiple times. One of those cases where you know is not no, give me the money, robbery. Oops, accidentally pulled the trigger. She was purposely fired up on and hit multiple times. Like a hit, like make sure say she dead, you know, kind of thing. Police who attended the scene observed Latchman-Peart in a pool of blood inside of the kitchen area of her restaurant. Latchman-Peart was pronounced dead at the hospital. There has been an outpouring of tributes on social media to Latchman-Peart and expressions of shock and grief over her murder since news of her death has emerged. Many of the people that I've read their comments, the comments are along the lines of, oh God, not you. Anybody else but not you. Can't be. This cannot be true. How could something like this happen to somebody like you? Those are the kind of comments that are left, right? One person says, now you tell me, what could this woman have done, so? For the brute to gun her down in her establishment. He went there with one intention, and it was to patronize her business. It wasn't to patronize her business, and it wasn't to satisfy his hunger. It was for her blood. And somebody else responded and said she probably didn't pay the extortion request. Well, I'm not thinking extortion request. Somebody linked us and said this is the mother of a young girl who was the 14-year-old who went missing in 2022 and was found hiding inside of a teacher's house. Yes. So I went to go look up what might there be a connection with this. Okay. I goes over to the Gleaner. Scroll back to 2022, June 7th. Clarendon teacher held after 14-year-old girl was found in his home. All right. This teacher was arrested. Actually, May 23rd of 2022, the Gleaner first posted, teacher arrested after missing 14-year-old girl found at his home. And the details for that says a Clarendon teacher was now in police custody after a 14-year-old girl who had been missing was found at his home in the parish on Saturday. The Clarendon police have confirmed. The Gleaner understands that the police went to the man's home on Saturday following an intelligence-based probe. The teacher wasn't home, and the police, they were there for a while, knocking on the grill and all these things for a good while. But while the police were there, the teacher drives up. When he drove up, the police must have questioned him, and he says, "That's not my home." The police took the keys that he had, tried the lock, because obviously he was playing with the police, and the police had said, "A ramp, man, give me the key them," and took his keys. "Are your home, but I know your home. Where you have in there hide, because we here said the little girl is inside." Took the keys from him. Remember him saying, "No, fee home, it's not my home." They opened the door, went into the house, and found the girl hiding. This girl is said to be the daughter of this woman, this chef, that just got gunned down. Yes. So here is the thing. The Gleaner understood that previously this teacher worked at a primary school and was currently employed to a high school, both in Clarendon. I said to myself, I wonder how many other students this teacher might have committed sexual offenses with. How many other underage girls this teacher might have had relations with. But in the meantime, watch how this connects to her death though. I was now being told, I'm not a police officer, I don't work at the police station, but I was told that this teacher had an open case out on this mother had an open case out on this same teacher, and the time when she was gunned down, she was shortly scheduled to appear in court concerning this same situation, because she had pressed charges against this teacher and she was heading to court to handle those charges in the courts pretty soon. All right, watch this now. She's gunned down right before she's able to go to court. So I dig a little further and I found a month later, after this teacher was arrested for having this 14-year-old girl that they found in his house that was reported missing, the headline in the Jamaica Gleaner says, Clarendon teacher held after 14-year-old girl found at his home gets $2 million bail. $2 million bail. You can work out the maths to the $2 million bail and you will see that it's some 10, 15, probably 18,000 and something US dollars. $2 million bail. Anyway, David Osborne is his name and his identity was not revealed. But although his identity was not revealed, he was offered bail last Friday and was ordered to return to the Lionel Town Parish Court in Clarendon on July 21st. That would be of 2022. He is charged with sexual grooming, abduction of a person under 16, having sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 16, and grievous sexual assault. These are all serious charges that he was charged with. And I'm told that the mother of the 14-year-old pressed those charges and she was seeing the charges through and she was scheduled to be in court sometime soon. The offenses allegedly took place between 2019 and 2022. 2019 and 2022. If she was 14 in 2019, how old would she, if she was 14 in 2022, how old would she be in 2019? Do the maths. All right. On May 19th this year, the girl left her home and did not return. That was 2022. It was reported that on May 21st, the girl was found at Osborne's home in Clarendon and he was arrested and charged. His attorney, Dwight Reese, is applying for bail. Well, they applied for bail and they got it, and it was to the sum of $2 million. He, the attorney, told the judge that there was no risk that could not be managed. In other words, my client is safe, Your Honor. He's not a flight risk. He is not a danger to the community, anything like that. He could handle this from outside of a jail cell. Plus, he's a school teacher and all these things. He was also ordered not to have any contact with the complainant, which is the mother of the child, because the complainant is the person who pressed the charges. He would be the defendant, right? Right. I find it very suspicious that just before he's about to, or she's about to go to court to answer to these things that she has laid out for the court to charge this man with, that she disappears. Like, not disappear, but she's gunned down, which her life disappears from earth, right? I would say to law enforcement that this is the first place you should look, and you should thoroughly investigate this. I read right here in the newspaper that it says he was also ordered to move out of Clarendon, or to live outside of Clarendon. Well, that wasn't him that came for her. That obviously was a hitman. Now, I'm not saying he's the one that did it. All me I say is, look into that avenue, because this is very suspicious. This, my friend, if it turns out to be that, could also be one of the cases that we've talked about before, how people get bail on some serious charges, and once they get bail on some serious charges, all they do is make sure that the people who press those charges no longer exist by time it's time to go back to court to face these charges. That means there's probably no court case, because Jamaica is not like the US, where if the complainant decides to let go of the case, say, I'm not going to charge him again, I don't have anything against him anymore, the state can still pick up in domestic issues where it concerns minors, or where it concerns like a man beating his spouse, a battered spouse situation. The law in the US makes for the state to be able to pick those charges up. And they did that for a reason. They did that just in case people got intimidated, because man who beat them woman used to love them up, friend them up, and then get back in their good graces, and next thing you know, she goes down to the police station and she drops the charges. So the state started saying, well, she keeps on coming here like every couple of months to file charges because he done beat her up and black and blued her eyes. But every time we actually go to prosecute him, she's the same one that comes and drops all the charges. So they made it in the law that these people who are manipulated could not be manipulated anymore. In other words, the state will still try the person, send them away for 5 to 10 years, and give the person who is being abused 5 to 10 years away from you to get themselves together, kind of thing. That's what was written into the law in the US. In Jamaica, I don't think that they have that kind of law. Maybe they do. I don't want to be talking out the left side of my head. Maybe they do. But I highly, highly doubt it. So in a case like this, if she dies, that's it. The case is thrown out. He no longer has anybody prosecuting him in court, right? So it looks very, very suspicious to me. Mark Walk said, so that reminds me of the case of Davian Bryan, who was ordered to live outside of his home parish of Portland after an allegation of sexual assault committed in his parish. Y'all remember Davian Bryan, right? The rapist man who was running up and down all in the bushes, raping off all the little girl them. He went to live in Bath, St. Thomas, where he created havoc by abducting and sexually assaulting little girls. Sending him to live outside of his parish might create a more monstrous person who, filled with resentment I would understand moving to another part of the parish, strict reporting conditions, conditions not to contact or seen within certain distance of the complainant, and the confiscation of travel documents. That could help. Otherwise, could just keep him in jail. How about that? However, shipping him off to another parish means moving the problem elsewhere. It might take time for him to get situated, and therefore, the police in the area he moved to might not even know that he is in their policing district. All young girls in the area are potential victims instead of the existing case. At least he is known in his community and even his parish, so people can be more cautious versus the unknown in another parish. That makes perfect sense. Another person says, CC says, why he got bail though? Sigh. Big old tough turbot take advantage of children. Why did he get bail? There are a couple of comments here I want to read to you. One person says, now you tell me, what could this woman have done? We read hers already. Dr. Bunting was correct. Jamaica is heading for close to 1,400 murders for the year of 2023. I didn't know that Dr. Bunting said that, but I said that myself, that Jamaica's murder numbers for 2023 is going to be no better than the one for 2022, right? And we've been doing this in Jamaica now for a while. The murder numbers are pretty high every year, consistently over 1,000, probably for the last 15-18 years or so. R.I.P. Holy Person, I can't understand why gunmen are killing so many hard-working small business entrepreneurs. The worst thing is that they are never caught. JLP, PNP, politicians use the same criminals to control the garrisons and keep regular Jamaicans living in fear. We then supposed to vote for the same politicians. Jamaica is a criminal state. From the politician to the police to the corner boy, a criminal. We don't see US nor British politicians and police associating with criminals, nor do they have dons controlling entire communities. Jamaica will never be better until we get rid of these types of lazy and corrupted leaders. They are the main reason so many criminals are still alive and breathing. I understand to a degree what that person is saying. I mean, if the theory is that she was being extorted and, gangsters in the area, gunman in the area, and gunman say everybody who have a little shop around here, so I figure pay me a little thing. Like Shutters, I don't know if you seen the movie Shutters. Yeah, everybody around here, so I figure pay me a little thing, right? Right, and maybe she wasn't paying her extortion fee and she got killed for it. I don't know about that theory there. It might be true. But for right now, I'm still leaning towards the policeman who had her daughter, and her daughter was found in his house, and she pressed charges against him. And she was shortly due in court, and then this happens. I'm leaning more towards that direction. But again, it could be anything. Logic to JA says, she seemed like a nice person. These guys respect no one. Make illegal possession of a firearm a life sentence. Was she supposed to go to court for any reason? You see what the person asks? Was she supposed to go to court for any reason? This is a random person asking this, right? Was she supposed to go to court for any reason? And it turns out we were told that she was supposed to go to court soon, and it was for her daughter and the teacher. Another person says, wow, this is sickening. Demons are very active in people's lives in Jamaica, boy. I mean, we are not at war. How did Jamaica become so wicked and evil? May this lady's soul rest in peace. People are really cruel and heartless. Miles Goodison Fearson says, clearly a contract killing. As the killer was poising and posing as a patron to see her, to set her up to get shot. Obviously, somebody wanted her out the way and hired the killer to do their bidding. Right. The last one says another cold-blooded murder of a young trying Jamaican woman. Who is the murderer? Who is the murderer? No one will ever say, when several knows who he is. There must also be a motive behind it. There is a very serious and dangerous problem that exists in our once peaceful Jamaica. Illegal firearms in the hands of vast amount of degenerate criminal characters must not be taken lightly. It's a very dangerous situation. There are several steps that can be taken in order to rid the country of illegal weapons, but it requires the intervention of a strong government in which the country lacks. It also requires the citizens' help. There are very few guns throughout the country, making violent crime difficult. In Cuba, there is a constructive government that rules Cuba. Jamaica has a weak and corrupted set of incompetent political opportunists that have no credibility, and therefore the pandemic of crime and violence and corruption has taken a devastating toll on the country of Jamaica. The average Jamaicans are satisfied with that standard of mediocre administration. Another person said lock down the country and call on Canada. LOL. Did I hear you right? If we can't solve our own problem, we don't deserve to exist. Small business people and hard-working people seem to be the ones who are targeted. My friend in the USA asked me what's a good business to open in Jamaica, and I told her a funeral business. Yes, because it's sad, but it's true. It's really hard to be an entrepreneur in Jamaica. You work hard and some junker just sit down and watch you and then kill you. How is Jamaica going to be successful when every local job creator is preyed upon by extortionists and robbers? There are a lot of Jamaicans who want to open honest businesses, but they are genuinely afraid. It's just sad. Jamaicans are Jamaica's worst enemy. You hear that? Jamaicans are Jamaica's worst enemy. We have an enemy inside our camp, and it's one of ours. And if we are going to move forward, we need to root them out. Otherwise, progression of a nation is impossible. Lord have mercy. Everybody have their own little take on what happened, but tell me if you think I'm wrong, being that this information is coming to light, that the police officer, not the police officer, the teacher that had her daughter, the 34-year-old teacher, whose name was even given in the article. I know me same name, you know. The gleaner print him name, David Osborne, 34 years old. His bail was $2 million. And shortly, she was due in court to stand before and press these charges, and this happens. Am I telling the police not to look in the right place? Or wouldn't you say that's a big motive? Leave your comments in the comment section below. My condolences goes out to another trying woman, another trying Jamaican person who lose their life under these types of circumstances. Remember me saying, no, just now, every 1 away, it's going to reach our doorstep some way, one way or another. I don't see how it go. Walk good, my people. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.